Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today we have a lovely feel-good stretchy slow flow, all levels, but on some of the postures I will be giving the options for advanced variations. Beginners, please don't click away, please don't be intimidated. There will be building onto these postures through steps, so once you have reached your limit you can just hang tight and feel it right there. But this is an all level slow, so I don't want to neglect our more intermediate to advanced students as well. The point is to play, have fun. If you're a bit wary of trying new things, I encourage you to. If you're a bit over ambitious, don't be stupid. Know your limits, respect where you are, and without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to start laying down. How generous of me. Start by just going onto our forearms all the way down, just yet plug into the heels. And we're going to go into a crescent moon or like a banana shape, okay? So I want you to kind of push into your heels, forearms to pick your hips up, reach them over to the right side of your mat. Start to walk your elbows over to the left corner of your mat. And then you're going to take, what leg is this? Left leg over to the left corner of the mat. And right leg follows, crossing the ankles only if that is comfortable and available to you. And then we can go ahead and lay all the way down, reaching our arms up and overhead. Also bringing the right arm to the left side of the mat by grabbing onto the right wrist with the left hand. Making sure that both the hip points and the shoulders are shining upward. We don't want to be turning over onto their side. We're looking for a nice lengthening along the right side of the body here. Big breath in through the nose and out the mouth. Whatever you're looking to accomplish with practicing with me today, acknowledge that now. Letting go of day behind us, whether it just started or just ended. We come onto our mat with complete neutrality. In through the nose, breathing into the belly and out the mouth again. Going to the second side and just wiggle our way. You can kind of come back onto your forearms if you need to set the hips over now to the left side. We're just going second side, crossing the left foot ankle over the right. Bringing our shoulders to the right side of the mat, dropping down, arms up and overhead, grabbing onto the left wrist now with the right arm. Coming into a little banana shape. Still kind of keep your shoulders tucked a bit here, not scrunching up to the ears. We're not rolling onto one hip, we're keeping them both evenly pressed into the mat. And back to center. Releasing, now drawing our knees into our chest, giving us a big squeeze. Squeezing the knees into the chest, releasing the lower back. You can rock side to side, massaging. Here, drawing the knees out to the shoulders, grabbing onto the edges of the feet, finding your Ananabalasana, our happy baby. Still maintaining that deep belly breath. And keep rocking like you were before, if that's comfortable for you. Still maintaining motion here. Right, from here we're going to plant the feet to the ground, reaching your fingertips as far as they can reach. If they can touch your heels or ankles, good job. If they can't, doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Tucking the shoulders underneath, make sure that they are rolling down far away from the ears. Really dragging to the heels, coming to a bridge pose here. So Oftentimes when we come into a bridge pose, we like to think about lifting from our glutes. What I want you to do is actually not engage into your glutes at all. So really make the mental purpose that you are not going to engage or squeeze into your glutes one bit. I want you first just by thinking about peeling the lower back off of the mat, rolling through the spine first, vertebrae by vertebrae, lifting only with your back muscles. And once you feel like you cannot lift with just your back muscles anymore, then you can start to engage your glutes. Find maybe a little bit more lift through the lower body here. And breathing in and out. You can lower the spine back. We can stay working there. We can just come back up onto that bridge, take that inversion. If it's a little bit much for you to maintain a bridge for a bit of a period of time, you can take a block or a cushion and just kind of set your hips up. It doesn't need to be as high as we just went up. The point is a gentle inversion if you can't maintain a bridge for a period of time. Now, going forward, building onto that, we can come into our shoulder stand, legs going up like in a waterfall, or legs up the wall, engaging it through your lower abdomen to lift the hips up, kind of pushing to our forearms, bring the hands to the lower back, engaging through our glutes. Once we feel like our back cannot reach up anymore, straightening through the legs. One of my most favorite inversions, one of the most fun to play with here. You can take a step further by creating an L shape with your body. Really strong core here, but dropping the legs to a 90-degree angles, our knees in front of our hips. Strong lower core. Still maintaining that breath. And finally dropping the feet all the way behind the head into our plow pose. Can tuck the feet under, kind of push to straighten the knees out, walking it out on the spot almost like a down dog, kind of stretching to the hamstrings here. We can point the feet, the toes instead, to feel a stretch in the front of our ankles, clasping the hands behind us. Going to slowly bring the hands to the lower back. Going to use this as support to slowly guide our spine back to the mat, resisting a slingshot effect, moving as slow as you can, still engaging that core, gently setting the low back all the way down. First, hugging the knees back into the chest, straightening the legs all the way out. We can bring the hands underneath our glutes here. We're going to come into our fish pose. So this may be a lot depending on what your level is. And if you were working with a block or a cushion, you can take that to support your upper back in this pose. If you cannot hold this without an extra hand, it's perfectly okay. You're still getting the same benefits out of it. So, don't feel shy. Going forward from here, we're really going to feel ourselves pushing into our elbows to lift our chest up, looking back. A reverse to our plow, now stretching through the front body. And on your exhale, drop it back down. Awesome. Untucking the hands, just coming all the way up, finding a tabletop pose. Doesn't need to be graceful or fancy. Ultimately, what matters? Coming to our tabletop pose, palms underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Even pressure here and just simple cat-cow, dropping the belly, looking forward. Finding a back bend. Inhale. Exhale, now rounding through the spine, tucking the tailbone, broadening the shoulder blades. Really push, grip into the mat. 2 more like this at your own pace. Inhale to look up. Exhale to round. Inhale. And exhale. From this point, we're just going to walk the hands a couple inches past our shoulders, sucking the toes, send it up, the downward dog. Not here for too long, just moving through the poses. I'm going to kick the right heel all the way up and step it onto the outside of that right hand, turning your feet to about a 45-degree angle. So you want your heel in, toes out, dropping that back knee. We're in a lizard pose here, so this feels a bit intense on the hip flexors, propping yourself up, cushion or block once more. You can keep palms on the mat. You can work to bring the foot out onto the outer edge here, pushing the knee out, starting to look back to our mat, staying up on their palm. One step further, bringing it down to the forearm. Still pushing that knee out, keeping that front foot firmly flexed to protect the joints here. Reaching back to the mat. And finally, if you're taking this variation today, kicking that back foot, finding a bind, twisted lizard, a quad stretch, flip flexor stretch, intense opening into the hips. Very flexible posture, so do not feel like you're not doing enough. When we go into these peak forms, what we're doing is just exploring the furthest that we can take this pose. I'm sure that there is someone who can take this one step further than I can. But our individual experience is what the point is. Okay, I've distracted you long enough. Let go, releasing the bind, pushing the palms back up. So keeping the foot where it is, grounding down, we're just going to turn over to the left side, spinning that back foot to where the heel is grounded through. Fancy little way we just found into our Skandasana. Keeping the hands on the mat. You can prop the hips up with a cushion or pillow. You can also make this a little more active by pushing into the hands to lift your hips up a little bit. You can always bring the hands up to the chest. You can take a bind, wrapping it around like so. And planting the palms, looking forward, spinning back, coming into a bit of a lunge, just pushing into that front heel, flexing into the foot, dragging it back. You can pull your leg a little bit more forward by just grabbing on the foot and literally pulling it if you have longer legs like I do. When we stay here in our half splits, starting to bend at the elbows, finding a hamstring stretch. Or if you practice the full splits, you can take those now by straightening that back leg as well. Coming down. I have not practiced my splits in some months, so we're getting it done now. Deep breaths, deep release in the hamstrings. Exhale, drag that front heel back. Send the legs back to meet the left. Just going to bring the toes together and knees as wide as the shoulders, sending it back to an easy child's pose. Just for a breath. All right, second side, planting those palms, coming back up into your downward facing dog. And right away, lifting the left heel up, stretching, and stepping it onto the outside. Left palm, heel in, toe out, about a 45-degree angle. Dropping that back foot down, untucking the toes. Staying up on the palms, propped up on a block or cushion. Coming down onto the forearms. You can start to take that foot to the outer edge, pushing the knee out gently. Not pushing ourselves too far, just right to our limits. Challenging, but not harming. And if you're ready, you can take your twist, your bind, that back heel up and reaching with your left hand. Trying to pull that foot closer to your glutes. Releasing that back heel, planting the palms, looking forward, walking the palms to the right side of the mat, pushing into that back heel to spin it around, hoping we find our way into Skandasana. Hands up at the chest, on the ground, whatever comfortable, hips may be propped up or not. An array, a buffet of choices. What was that? Okay, that's enough of that. Spinning it all the way forward.
Hello, it's editing me from the future, so I realized that I forgot to go into our half splits, or full splits if you took that variation, on the left side. So ground into that heel, send those hips back, straighten the back leg if you're taking your full splits. You can pause the video here to take your time to stretch out your hamstrings. I will wait patiently for you to return, but I want you to make sure that your hips are even, unlike mine. So, okay, I love you, bye-bye.
Stepping that foot back once again. And set the hips back just for a second, kind of rocking it down. We're not staying here. Coming right back up to tabletop pose, taking a thread the needle to twist out the spine. Taking the left hand underneath the right arm, threading it through, dropping that ear, the left ear down to the mat, making sure you're pushing into both hips evenly. It's easy to dump into the right hip here, so making sure that you're really pushing into that left hip, keeping the spine straight. We're looking for a twist through our spine. Coming up, just going right into the second side, throwing that right arm now through the left, dropping the right ear down to the mat, pushing into those hips evenly, now into the right hip. Trying to look up here. Okay, coming all the way back up. All right, sitting, the hips down, coming to the middle of your mat, opening our legs up to the outer corners of the mat, coming into a straddle, working through a wide-legged fold here. And keep the knees bent, as wide, as active, as passive. Your call. Going to walk the hands forward. Just start by coming onto the forearms. We're going to release more through our hips as we work here, so you don't need to go crazy. Really trying to drag those front of the hips forward, almost like you're trying to bring your lower abdomen to meet the mat. I'm keeping my feet flexed, keeping it a little active. Okay, we're going to start to walk over now to the right leg, keeping your legs as they are, just stretching over to the right and trying to fold over that right knee. On the end of your exhale, now walking back to center. See if you can bring it a little closer down now. Coming into the next side, over your left knee. 2 breaths here. Take note of how the stretch is changing as you're moving through. Where do you feel it on this side? Walking it back to center now. And now kind of try to push yourself here. Opening into this posture, opening through the hips. Making making sure your shoulders are staying down away from your ears. Release through the jaw, not tensing through the neck. Pushing into the palms, now walking it all the way back. See, that wasn't too bad. You can take your hands to lift behind your knees and bring your feet in, stopping just a little bit while they're wider than your hips and dropping the knees side to side in a windshield wiper motion. Release your hips. You can just sit easy seated, kneeling, again, whatever comfortable, maybe with your hips propped up, maybe not. And let's just close with a nice, easy seated meditation. Palms on the knees, on your chest, on your abdomen. Find a moment of stillness. Check in with your body here. Draw comparisons to when you first stepped on your mat, how you feel now. Return to that purpose you had for stepping onto the mat, trusting that it was fulfilled. Bring your hands up to heart center now. One big breath in through the nose and out the mouth. Love and light me, season honors the love and light to you, and that we say namaste. Thank you so much for joining me again today. If you like this video, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Comment down below anything else you'd like to see, or give me a compliment. I love them. And subscribe if you want to see more. Or not, you know. And until next time, thank you so much.